That's the trick.
Let's go all out.
See, down becomes range.
Demon Fang!
Get him! Fireball! Rain thrust! Get him! Fireball!
Demon Fang!
No way!
Demon Fang!
Sonic
Get
Thrust!
him! Rain thrust! Get him! Fireball! Rain thrust!
I mean, you're gonna have a hard time getting kills with Lloyd and Kratos around.
There!
But it's possible. It's not impossible.
Don't let up!
Get him! Fireball! Found your weakness! Rain thrust! Away!
Don't overdo it.
Rain thrust!
First aid!
Get him! Fireball!
Thrust! Like that?
See, and in this game, first aid was really good. It heals you for 30% of your HP. Max HP.
Demon Fang!
Get him! Fireball! All talk, no action.
It feels like it healed way less in TOV. Excuse me. Unless, of course, you got heal supply, in which case it healed a lot more. Close to 40%, it feels like.
This is gonna be tough.
He's not that bad.
Sonic Thrust!
Demon Fang!
I thought I was going to do this spinny arm attack.
Rain thrust!
Because you can actually avoid it if you're super close to him, because his arms actually circle around you instead of touching you. Turn into a rock. See, and without really telling you what to do, it kind of showed you like, oh, you can accidentally drop it down the hole. I mean, I guess it does kind of tell you what to do. But they use it like, you know, through storytelling. It's like, oh, she's clumsy. She trips all the time and knocks shit over because she's a klutz. Oh, you can knock stuff into this hole? I never would have thought.
One right after another.
Yeah, it was too slow on that exchange.
Don't overdo it. First aid!
Yeah, see, you can avoid it by running into this dude.
Demon
He
Fang!
does the spinny arm attack.
All right! Stone blast!
Don't overdo it. First aid!
But you have to, like, really keep running into him.
Demon Fang!
All talk, no action.
We ran out of sandwich ingredients? That was fast. Not like it matters. Like, what's a really good one? Curry's, like, the best recipe. Well, miso stew is technically the best recipe. But, finding...
Don't overdo it.
Excuse me, finding the ingredients for it can be tricky.
Demon Fang!
Don't overdo it.
Sorry.
First aid!
Demon
Rain
Fang!
thrust! Sorry.
Demon Fang!
See, like, because the combat was simpler, the AI is decent enough at, like, doing shit. Like, you don't constantly have to play, like... Well, except for Colette. Never mind. Maybe I should say that for casters, it's not that big a deal because, like, you never see Genius randomly running up to hit people unless he has, like, no mana. Like, it's not like Rita where, like, she'll I'm gonna run up to whack you with my book because I want to. It's like, At these games, it was, like, more simple. If you're a caster, you stay back there and cast, and that's all they do.
You're going down.
What do I want to do here?
Now.
First of all, I want to see who's going to be coming where so I don't get hit by shit.
Found your weakness.
Sonic Thrust!
Rain thrust.
Sonic
Rain
Thrust!
thrust.
No way!
And this is pretty much what you do. You run up, attack, run back to avoid damage. You can always block, of course.
Demon Fang!
But this game is more antiquated in its fighting design. Ow.
Take this! Sonic Thrust!
Demon Fang! All right!
Little more antiquated. And the game that came out after this, Tales of Legendia, it went back to an even more old school combat style that you would see in like Tales of Eternia, Tales of Destiny, which is like why I didn't like it as much because
Let's go all out!
while those are fun for what they were, It's not exactly the most fun, like having this like two-dimensional. I mean, technically, the battlefield in this is two-dimensional because you can only run back and forward. The AI can like run in 3 dimensions, but you can't. Go figure.
All right.
Like you can see like your allies will like actually move in 3 dimensions, and you're just kind of stuck there running back and forth. Which is why a lot of people who play this game a lot play in manual, because jumping over enemies is a way to get behind them fast. Or really to get behind them at all, because you can't otherwise.
Don't let up.
Unless you're Lloyd. Lloyd has lots of cool mobility
Don't
tricks.
overdo it. First aid.
He gets an ability called Tempest. It like allows him to just leap
Demon Fang.
long distances over the map. And old school players of this game will like use that to like get away, get out of situations, get close to enemies, gap close.
Work. Sonic thrust.
I get anything else? Just Ray Thrust. I think the next thing I'll get is like Pow Hammer.
There.
Life bottle. We could switch this over to Japanese. We didn't do that last time. Okay, we got that. Now we just need to use 2 blocks down the center over there and we're done. But before I do that, can't forget to get the stuff over here. Yeah, as far as first dungeons go, this one is
Don't let up.
not too bad at all.
Don't overdo it. First
Pretty
aid.
standard by Tails game.
Ray thrust.
Sonic thrust. Sonic thrust.
See, in this game, the plot gets going right away, and then it slows down enough for you to, like, get acquainted with your characters. Like, right away, it's like, oh, the Oracle's happening, and it's like, what Oracle? Like, they're kind of explaining the plot to you as part of an intro to the game. They're talking about the goddess, and how she's asleep,
Alright,
and
let's
how
go.
this regeneration of the world journey starts. And Rain is also talking about it. And meanwhile, you see that, you know,
No way.
these are your characters. And Colette's like, you know,
Take this. First aid.
she's dumb,
Ray thrust.
but she has a good heart. She's like Lloyd, because they're both kind of dumb. And that's why they belong together.
There.
Like, she's a ditz, he's a ditz, she's also a klutz. Like, she breaks a hole in the wall. She's not some pink-haired lady on a train who's a bitch the entire time, and then she's like, I was never meant to love because I got an ancient space deity inside me or something. I don't know. My thorns, my thorn. It doesn't explain why the fucking Great Spirit put himself in Naori in the first place whenever he's trying to use her to give him astral energy.
Demon Fang.
Like, why would you sabotage your own plan?
Sorry.
Demon Fang.
They didn't explain that shit. It's like, why did he put thorns in Naori if he created Naori in the first place and Alphen to siphon energy to him? It seems kind of counterintuitive to screw up your own plans like that, Great Spirit. Did you really stop to think about what the fuck you're doing? No, because the plot's convoluted and doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Reinforcements, huh?
Well, I put a piece of me inside her because, reasons.
Demon Fang.
Ray thrust.
That sounded more sexual than I intended it to, but really, I'm not interested in Naori's bloodline that way. And
Ray thrust.
she's related to Naori somehow. They both have the last name, but, like, does that mean that Naori, like, had sex and had kids and shit? Or it seems like having a great spirit inside you that causes painful thorns to other people that would kind of deter others from, like, wanting to be with you. Maybe she found a guy who also couldn't feel pain, or there was some sort of experiment. I mean, there's lots of unanswered questions. They don't really need to be answered, in my opinion, but it's like, if you really stop to think about that game's plot, it falls apart, because it's just dumb. Wait a minute, Great Spirit. You're saying that you created the Maiden and the Sovereign in order to siphon mass quantities of astral energy to you, but you also sabotaged your own project for reasons. Yeah, so? Oh, just making sure.
Demon Fang.
What's your point? It's just space and science, and don't focus on that. Focus on the fact that they love each other.
Great thrust.
Then why would you bother mentioning any of this?
Sonic.
Well, because the game needs some kind of plot.
Great thrust.
Whatever the fuck this is, what you're getting.
Sonic Thrust.
I was just warming up.
Anywho. Just seems a little convoluted for what you wanted in the end. Just a little. Just a little bit.
Let's go all out.
And to think his plan would have worked if he didn't sabotage himself by
Demon Fang.
implanting himself in Naori in the first place.
Demon Fang.
Demon Fang.
Even though those computer records said that she had a mental instability or something.
Sonic Thrust.
And that's what caused the Sovereign's power to go out of control.
All right.
Everybody okay? These monsters are kind of tough. Except not really, because they just fall over.
Be careful, everyone.
I mean, if you let them hit you, they can do damage for sure.
Demon Fang.
Demon Fang.
Great thrust.
No. Demon Fang. Like that. Demon Fang.
Great thrust.
Come on. Damn.
Never
Should've
stood
blocked.
a chance.
Great spirit, what is it that you want?
All right, let's
to
go.
live. Oh, then why do you keep sabotaging yourself?
Demon
Oh.
Fang.
Thrust.
Why go through the trouble of making a sentient, like, super race? I mean, not the sentient part. But why go through the trouble of making fucking a superhuman race to give you astral energy? Oh.
Demon Fang. Just as
Clearly
I
you hadn't been sentient for long, sir, because you're just making dumb decisions. He's like a wild animal. He feels fear.
This is gonna be a peep.
The will of Rena is speaking to me, and he's afraid.
Don't overdo it. First aid.
Demon Fang.
Great thrust.
But it's okay because Alpha and Shion get together, which I was satisfied with. As a hopeless romantic, I'm glad that there was some fucking romance in a Tales game. We hadn't had that shit in a long time. Unless, of course, you count the word incest in TOB.
Never stood a chance.
My sister. My Laffy said, "You're my reason for living. You murdered him." No, Velvet, I sacrificed myself for the good of humanity. What? You're telling me my whole reason for existing was a lie? That's what I'm telling you. Oh. Well, there's my arc, I guess. Still gonna be irrationally hate-filled and just one note. There you go. It's like Rokuro, Magi Lu. I mean, Eleanor to a lesser extent, she was also just a one-note character who has an irrational hatred of demons. Demons are the enemy, you know. I am Remu,
So,
traitor to the heavens. I am Remu. This game's plot is, I mean, it's a little convoluted to try and pair people up through genealogical marriages and try and make an exact copy of your sister. I guess this game had a weird incest plot as well, because the final villain was obsessed with bringing his sister back to life.
From this moment,
But they use crazy technology through the power of magic. It's called Magi technology. And that technology is run on X-spheres, which is harvested from humans, because there's an elite race of half-human, half-elves. I mean, I guess they're called half-elves, but that are full of hatred because neither of elves hate them and humans hate them, so they feel like nobody loves us.
So that's the
Colette,
It's a big
the
faux
chosen
pas
of
for elves to mate
regeneration.
with humans, so that's why the elves hate them. Because elves are racist and think they're better than everybody. And the elves came to this planet on a giant ball of mana
First.
Oh,
called Darius Carlon. Like, it's a weird plot, like, don't get me wrong.
First, we should.
But as a piece, like, the elves were technically aliens because they're floating on a giant rock of mana, and they like, discovered this planet and humans, and they planted a tree of mana. It's not really clear whether or not, like, humans were here before elves or what. I mean, they must have been. Colette must now go on a long journey to search for those seals. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. And they planted the tree of mana here on this planet. And I guess a mana tree was too much for humanity because they used its technology to wage war against each other. And that caused the tree to die, and it caused the land to die. Which... either this planet always had mana, or after planting that tree, it became addicted to mana or something, because how was this planet alive before they came and planted the mana tree? It doesn't make any sense if you stop and really think about it. And it's like, without mana the land will die. So did the land have mana before they planted the giant tree, or you're not exactly being forthcoming with your information. And this was all 4,000 years ago in this game's lore, by the way. And after we replant another tree of mana, 4,000 years from now, the plot of Tales of Fantasia happens, and the tree is withering again. And the tree at the end of this game is named Yggdrasil, after the Norse legend. Norse, I don't know, creation mythology, creation myth. I don't know what it is, to be perfectly honest.
Demon Fang!
Norse mythology was never one of my strong
All
points.
right.
But Yggdrasil was the world tree from which all life came, I guess. I don't know. And I'm guessing it's kind of the same thing with this. Like, maybe... I mean, it's not, because it's... I was gonna say, like, maybe the Tree of Mana is just a metaphor, but it's not. It's a real physical thing that, that exists. You see it grow. So, it's not a metaphorical thing where, like... Mana was technology, man. And technology corrupted people. Ooh. We don't have a lot of money right now. I don't think we really have to identify things, because we have our monster book already filled out. Not filled out, but I shouldn't have to identify things. But it's like, yeah. There's a literal tree of mana. If you come talk to this guy, he gives you grapes. So angels really do have wings. So, before the elves came to this world and planted a tree over 4,000 years ago, was the world barren and... Are we going to Colette's house? Oh, yeah. Like, was it barren and there was no life on it, and so the elves planted a tree? And then life came after the tree, and then that developed into technology, magi technology. Like, they're not really... By evil... uh-oh. My homework or whatever. They're always talking about homework. It's locked. I mean, if life existed on Celia, which is what the name of this planet is, The whole planet is Acilia, before it was split into the twin worlds of Tethiala and Silverant. So it could be that
we
that's
shall
what it
entrust the
was,
protection of the-
is that there
I
was
am
no
willing.
life on this planet before the elves came.
Thank you so much for your help earlier.
Oh, you're back. Thank you.
I don't
for
know,
your
man, that doesn't seem to add
assistance earlier.
up, because...
Please accept
Well,
this
maybe it
small
was even
thanks.
before a time... Because 4,000 years ago was when Mythos was like, you know, he was like 12, 4,000. He's like 4,012.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phaedra. Say, were you
I don't know.
talking about
It's
the
all a
world
little murky.
regeneration?
Yes.
Wow.
No. You can never join us. Never.
Please wait.
Oh my god, what's wrong with your house? It's all like low poly in there. It's really awful.
Oh yeah.
Listen.
I don't know, I'm
no,
just sort of musing.
Don't.
I swear.
Because, I mean,
Isn't it-
if I criticize one game, I have to criticize all of them. It's not just... I should say critique.
Oh.
Sure.
Even though it's more of like...
Doesn't-
I'm overly harsh on Tales of Rise, but that's because that plot was really fucking... over-the-top, nonsensical. This, I mean... could call it nonsensical, but... Hey, it's Rain, Professor. I'm going with Colette on her journey of regeneration. But we already have brotherly love, so... Again, this is not